student each day in a classroom.
Okay, Matt.
I'm going to echo a lot of what people said in terms of, I believe, yes, we do prepare our students very well. And I see it a lot in the aspect of working at the university. I deal with hundreds of students every year, all the way from students that I employ working for my department to students I have to meet with in a disciplinary situation. And, you know, I can always tell you what certain school districts around the state have students that aren't prepared and students that are prepared. And most often with the students that come out of the Platteville School District, you know, they're our most successful academically that I employ. And they're able to deal with the stresses. You know, I work in our residence life department, so we hire resident assistants to be in the residence halls. And they're the ones that can balance the day-to-day rigors of being in academics and also having a 20 to 25 hour a week job. And so they do well with academics, and so I think academically we do a really great job in the district of doing that, again, with the constraints that we have. But I think there's a lot more to what our students are getting in our school district from the teachers and the administrators in terms of extracurriculars, the arts, because when they leave and they come to the university, in my perspective, these are students that are well-rounded, 360-degree students that are really easy to work with. They've had the experiences, they've played in sports, they've been involved in student government. You know, they've done all the outside of the classroom types experiences that when I see, you know, when I see that trend of students from other districts in the state, and it's kind of sad for those districts. So I think we do a really good job of really churning out really great students that have a well-rounded experience that range all the way from their academic experience and success, preparedness for life after, you know, their K-12 education, but also prepares them socially to be productive members of society.
Okay, that actually leads right into the next question, which is on the subject of what I guess is now called co-curriculars. That would include athletics and music and drama and various other activities that don't necessarily take place in the formal classroom. Is the role of co-curriculars in this school district appropriate or not? It certainly gets more attention than some things that take place in classroom athletics. I know it's hurts from your shirt. So that I'm interested in your thoughts about the current role of co-curriculars and in this school district, and if it's at the appropriate level or not. We'll start with Steve.
Didn't know that's where you were going with the question, but we actually have a local champion in the audience tonight. When I think about co-curricular things, Gary is here tonight, and he has been a strong advocate for activities at an elementary level from a teacher and a community perspective for many, many years. And I think we are at an appropriate level given the budgetary situation that we're in. You know, I think it goes without saying, as budgets get tighter, if they continue to tighten as much as they have, we're going to have to look at co-curricular options. And I think come up with evaluative criteria that we can, just like with our curriculum, our academic curriculum, provide the best bang we can for our buck in offering those opportunities for kids to excel in academics as well as co-curricular activities, and from my perspective, the entire gamut of co-curricular activities, that being sports and music and drama and even club activities, the kinds of opportunities we offer on our playgrounds. Those are all part of creating that whole student.
Okay, Colleen.
It's interesting, I just got done writing a big, giant assessment report about not only academics, but co-curriculars at the university. And
Sounds like fun.
one really can't, that was spring break. I feel sometimes we do, unfortunately, sometimes over-evaluate some co-curriculars because of the public eye. What we don't sometimes realize is the vast experience that and the depth that gives most students that engage in co-curriculars, as far as how to use some of that knowledge across, that transferable skills, whether it be critical thinking or problem solving. That's co-curricular, whether it be working on an athletic team, looking at a piece of artwork and figuring out exactly what you want to do with it, being a part of an orchestra. Listening to the 5th, 6th grade orchestra the other day, I was amazed. It was amazing. I did not have that type of opportunity as a K-12 student. Those opportunities, they don't just enhance a student's education. Sometimes those are the things that unlock certain students' potential and ability, and they drive this education. So they're very, very important. Do we sometimes misbalance our eye to them? Yes. Sometimes people don't realize what they might have to cost eventually if we have to start to balance financially how to support them. But the value of them, they're in them. We can't do without them in the student's experience.
The bass player in the audience liked your answer. Eric.
Tough to top the two previous answers. I mean, you're absolutely right. It goes to my previous answer about where we're going with our education and kind of the core piece. I mean, without those things molding us as we grow up, if it's just the academics, a lot of kids will never unlock to see what else is going on in the world and the potentials for their lives. And for those who don't go beyond high school, that's a tragedy. It really is. And to not be exposed to band or orchestra or team sports or individual sports, and to challenge ourselves to do more or better or view something in a different light is tragic. And I think we are doing the best we can, as Steve said, to make sure that there are enough opportunities for everybody to find their niche. Would I like to see more? Oh yeah, I'd love to see more. But the fiscal responsible part of me, as Kurt would, I think, agree, says that we can't be everything to everyone. And we can't try to do that. But we can do our best with what we've got, and I think we're doing a good job of that. Can we do more? Yeah, if somebody will put a big pot of money for us, but that's not going to happen anytime soon.
Okay, Matt.
Yeah, again, I think I'm going to echo a lot. Is I think we have an appropriate amount. I think we do well with that. I think I'm a big sports guy, so I appreciate that. I appreciate that in high school especially, but all the way down through middle school and even starting them out, K through 5 as well. But I really appreciate the arts, and I think we do a really great job of the arts in our district. I find myself going to more of the arts types things as a parent than I do the sports, and I'm sure that'll change as my young boys get older, but in their interests. But and I can't remember the exact quote, but if you've ever seen Mr. Holland's Opus, he talks about the arts and how that opens and unlocks minds and creates students to be able to be successful. And for me, in high school, I was a good student, but it was extracurriculars that really allowed me to grow as a student and do better in the classroom, meet new people, and be able to connect with people and get involved in the community. And so that's something that's very important to me, and I think, again, our district does a really nice job of balancing that. And again, I think a lot of those, do get the limelight a lot over, the successes in the classroom. But I think a lot of times what we offer as extracurriculars and the co-curriculars really are enhancing what's happening in the classroom. And I appreciate that. Again, I think we always could do more, but again, we budget constraints, and it's something we have to keep in mind.
Okay, Kurt.
Obviously, I'm a huge co-curricular fan, and I'm a huge co-curricular fan, not just athletics. I saw probably one of the best musicals at our high school this year that I've seen. It probably rivaled some of the productions that I've seen at the university, and that's not to take anything away from their productions, because I think we're lucky to have those in town. That's one of the places where we benefit. So I think it's neat as a parent to be able to take my kid to a function at the university, and then my son or daughter sees those performances and then says, you know what, I want to do that. And our schools offer that opportunity to them then to be able to do that and to get on the bigger stage at the high school and things like that. And that money through Connie, Art, the school board, whoever, I don't care who said we should spend money enhancing that facility, it was well spent, in my opinion, enhancing that facility. It, like I say, the performance there this last year was phenomenal, I thought, and I was glad that my daughter had an opportunity to be part of it. I think that those people who put in the extra time to make those performances that way are phenomenal, that, because I believe they do go above and beyond, and they probably never get the thanks or praise they deserve. Athletically, do I feel like we have good representation? Yes, I do, and I also believe that over the course of the years, and I told Connie this once, that when we walk into our school, I'm proud of the fact that you can look up in our commons, you can see trophies, but you can also see scholars. I don't see that at every school, and I shared that with Connie one time, that that's something I'm proud of. I know a lot of those people up there. I'm proud of them just like I am of our athletes. Now, do I believe that some of those people were also involved in athletics? Yes, they were. Or were they involved in the musical? Yes, they were. Or band, or some of the other groups that don't get any recognition? Yes, they definitely were. Why? Because I knew them personally and things. So I believe it's all part of the discipline that goes along with education, and I believe if over the course of the years you looked at the average grade points of kids involved in things and the average grade points of the average, I'm going to bet that we can all sit here and say they're probably a little bit higher, there's probably higher standards, and there's more people looking out for their well-being. I had some great mentors when I grew up because of the things I was involved in and because of the people I got to know, and they continue to be great mentors to me even after high school. And I had some great disciplinarians that were teachers, but you know what? They're the ones that I respected the most after I was done, and they're the ones that I was always happy to come back to the community and see when I did come back, and they were always happy to see me, I believe, because they always embraced what you had to say, what are you up to, and things like that. So I believe that we offer a lot of opportunities. I hope those opportunities don't have to go away, but I realize that there might be some tough decisions involved with them, but I believe that's all part of the well-rounded student.
Okay. It's interesting to me how many questions have kind of gone into the next question. So I'm going to throw a curveball at all of you. This is a question that actually has not come up in any of the answers to this point. Over the past several years, there has been a sort of a shift in funding of education from a certain number of dollars goes to certain school districts to funding formulas that are based on enrollment. That's one thing. The second thing, of course, is that we are in an era of public school choice, where whether you live in the Platteville School District or not, if you want your kids to go to the Platteville schools, you can do that. So here's my question. Is the school district doing an adequate job or not in promoting itself as a place for kids to go to school, whether or not they're from Platteville? And if you don't believe that the school district is doing enough of a promotion job, what should be done instead in this era of open enrollment, and if you have more students, you get more aid and so on? And we'll start with Colleen, because I can tell you're just begging to answer this.
Well, yeah, I think whatever product you have to offer, the more you can get your story out there, the more exposure you can get, the better result you're gonna have. Are we doing enough to get a bigger return on our investment as far as attracting different families? It's hard. I mean, the university has grown so much. At times, sometimes, I feel like that's squeezed out some of the smaller families from the school district. Is the university going to continue to do that? No, they can't. We're pretty much at capacity right now. Do I think we need to maybe do a better job of recruitment of young families and young professionals into the area? Yeah, I do think we need to find a way to do that, and it isn't necessarily by social media, but it is by getting our name and our materials to, whether it be the realtors, whether it be the business areas that are hiring. We do need to do a little bit, probably more visible, not better, but more, attracting more people, basically, to the district, because I think we have capacity. And I think if we're gonna do things like pass a successful referendum, that again, it's a feather in the cap of we value education. We made the choice when we decided we were going to have a family to move here, not stay in Monroe, because we liked the school district. We need to tell the story of the school district. We need to support the school district and be very visible and vocal.
Okay, Eric.
I think part and parcel to the community is the school district. Someone said something recently that I thought was kind of cute at first, but I think it's appropriate. When you're selling a house, you upgrade the bathroom and the kitchen because that's what sells houses. The things we're doing in the referendum to build a foundation for the next 20 years are doing just that for our education system, particularly those aspects of the STEM and the mathematics wing pieces, updates, as well as all the other pieces that make it an attractive district for families to come to. But that's only one part of it. The community has to help the district in getting the word out by being open to young families, by not overgrowing the university so that 80% of the available housing is taken up by students, and young families who aren't established yet can't afford the rents in Platteville. I know a lot of folks, that's not fair, I know some folks who don't live in the city of Platteville because they can't afford to live here, but they work here. They live in Cuba City, so where do their kids go to school? Cuba City, it's close to home. They get to know friends that they're going to play with and be in their neighborhoods. So we lose as a community, both the community and the district. So I think that's something that we need to perhaps do better with the city government in how do we make that partnership more viable. And anybody who's watched city council meetings knows that I'm not a favorite of this Platteville City Council, but that's okay. We still got to work with them to make it a better place. And I think the district can lead that charge, but without the city and the community at large helping us do that, we're going to tread water.
I'm not touching that city council comment after last
You've
night.
been there.
Not going there. Matt?
You know, I think, if you look at the nature of our city, and again, in relation to the rest of these people up on the panel here, I'm the newest member to town, been being here for about 10 years. Prior to that, I mean, came here as a student, so over 15 years I've been associated with Platteville. But over the years, I've always been surprised at just really how humble our community is in just not wanting to promote themselves more. And I think, when you said this, that's what came up is, are we being humble about our successes, the high ratings that we've gotten, and finding ways to really promote that. I think, the university, we talk about, and, I work at the university, but at the same time, we have to find that balance. We have to figure out what's gonna work. That's a draw for a lot of families, but like you said, it really is. I mean, finding adequate spaces for young families to be able to afford, in our housing market. I mean, you have some houses that are $80,000, and then you have houses that are $400. But I was talking to some local real estate agents that talk about, when a house comes on the market, it's $150,000 in town. It's on the market for about 3 days, and it just goes like that. And so, really being able to, I think, promote the university as something that helps. We talked about how the university helps with the arts in town, and how our students are prepared, and as they go there, they want to get involved. I think that's a good selling point. I think our town has a lot to be proud of. I think we can stand up and do more with that. I think we've done a lot more with tourism and helping with that. I think that's really great. Kathy Kopp's done a wonderful job with that, and continues to do a wonderful job with that. But I think we can really do more with our schools and really touting what we have to offer. Again, the